Good day and welcome. You're watching Sint Maarten NEWSDESK, where we bring you the latest and most important stories around the island and beyond. With your anchor crew, Alston Lawrence, Glenda York, Tiziana Hart, and Mizzy with the Sunshine Report. This broadcast is brought to you by TV15 and proudly produced by Great Bay Media Studios in Philipsburg, Sint Maarten. And now, let's jump straight into today's top headlines.
Police arrest scooter rider with firearm. The police force has arrested a male suspect for illegal firearm possession after detectives observed suspicious behavior in Philipsburg. Police say the incident happened on Sunday, May 17th around 1 p.m. Detectives noticed a dark-colored scooter with one rider traveling along Front Street. Officers became suspicious after seeing the rider repeatedly looking into several business establishments while moving through the area. The rider was later followed onto Back Street, where officers again observed him slowing down and looking into a store in a way they considered suspicious. Detectives then shared the information with patrol units, and officers coordinated to intercept the scooter rider on Longwall Road. The suspect, identified by the initials JMM, was controlled by police, and officers discovered a revolver concealed under his shirt. He was immediately arrested and the firearm was confiscated. The suspect was taken to the Philipsburg police station, where he's held for questioning. Police say removing illegal weapons from the streets remains a priority, and they are urging business owners and the public to remain alert and report suspicious behavior by calling 911 or 542-2222. Minister Brug continues fresh produce outreach. Public Health, Social Development and Labor Minister, the Honorable Richinel Brug, has continued his fresh produce outreach initiative to support vulnerable families and community groups across Sint Maarten. The initiative forms part of the Ministry of VSA's broader Health in All Policies approach, which looks at public health beyond medical care alone. It includes food security, nutrition, social support, and overall community well-being. The ministry worked with churches, senior homes, soup kitchens, community organizations, and key individuals to distribute fresh fruits and vegetables to feeding programs and persons in need. The outreach comes as many families continue to face pressure from the rising cost of living, higher fuel and utility costs, and global economic challenges affecting small island economies. Minister Brug says the initiative is about compassion, dignity, and reminding vulnerable residents that they are not forgotten. He also said access to fresh produce can make a meaningful difference for families, seniors, and feeding programs. The minister says once the 2026 budget is approved, VSA intends to expand initiatives that improve access to nutritious food and strengthen support for vulnerable groups. Leaders discuss island-wide traffic solutions. Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Luke Mercelina met last Wednesday with President Louis Mussington of the Collectivité of Sint Maarten to discuss traffic challenges affecting both sides of the island. The meeting focused on congestion, cross-border mobility, infrastructure coordination, and the need for stronger technical cooperation to improve traffic flow island-wide. VROMI Minister the Honorable Patrice Gums also took part in the discussions along with officials from both delegations. Prime Minister Mercelina said traffic congestion is no longer just an inconvenience. He says it affects productivity, public safety, tourism, emergency services, businesses, and quality of life for residents. Both sides agreed on the need for closer cooperation between the ministries and departments responsible for traffic management, infrastructure, transportation, and public safety. On the Dutch side, Vromi Minister Patrice Gums will lead coordination with colleagues from TEAT and Justice to help establish a technical cooperation committee. The Prime Minister also requested updated vehicle registration data from the French side to support future traffic assessments and evidence-based mobility planning. Mercelina and Mussington are scheduled to meet again on June 4th to continue discussions on matters of shared importance between Sint Maarten and Sint Maarten.
Hello, my people. My name is Glenda York of Sit, Sip and Chat and Moms in Paradise podcast. You can find us on TV15 Sint Maarten, TVC St. Kitts, and on YouTube. Reporting from Great Bay Media Studios in Sint Maarten, your NEWSDESK feature story is coming up. But first, here is Mizzy with the Sunshine Report.
Hey there, it's Mizzy with the Sunshine Report, straight out of Sunshine City, Sint Maarten, bringing you the warmth and the sunshine you need to kickstart your day. So let's dive into today's forecast and see how the skies are treating us.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every life, every adventure. Number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want the road. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them it's there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want the road.
Sint Maarten recognizes Haitian Flag Day. Prime Minister Dr. Luc Mercelina and Member of Parliament Francisco La Cruz recognized Haitian Flag Day observed annually on May 18th. The Prime Minister extended congratulations to the Haitian community in Sint Maarten and around the world, praising the resilience, determination, and rich heritage of the Haitian people. He also acknowledged the important contributions of the Haitian community to Sint Maarten's social, cultural, and economic development, describing the community as an integral part of the country's multicultural fabric. Haitian Flag Day marks the creation of Haiti's flag in 1803 and remains a powerful symbol of unity, independence, courage, and national pride. Haiti would later become the first independent country in the Caribbean and the Western Hemisphere, a historic milestone with meaning across the region and the world. MP La Cruz also recognized the day, saying it speaks to identity, history, and the strength of a people who stood firm in who they are. He said it is important to acknowledge the pride and heritage of the Haitian diaspora, including those living in Sint Maarten. The government of Sint Maarten joins the Haitian community in wishing everyone a meaningful Haitian Flag Day celebration. French fire dogs assist Saba search. French side fire and rescue teams have joined the search for a missing hiker on Saba. At the request of the governor of Saba, 2 dog handlers from the French side fire and rescue service STIS 978 were deployed on Saturday morning with their sniffer dogs to assist in the search for the 53-year-old hiker. The team departed from Princess Juliana International Airport and landed in Saba around 11:50 a.m., where they immediately joined the ongoing search operation. The mission was initially scheduled to last 24 hours, officials say. The deployment followed consultations with the Antilles Zone headquarters and the relevant national authorities due to the specialized nature of this type of emergency support. The operation highlights the cooperation between French and Dutch authorities in responding to emergencies in the Caribbean. Authorities have continued urging the public to follow official updates and avoid independent searches in difficult terrain, so trained teams can operate safely and effectively. CBCS says financial system remains resilient. The Central Bank of Curaçao and Sint Maarten says the monetary union's financial system remains resilient but faces a more uncertain outlook. In its 2026 financial stability report, CBCS says Curaçao and Sint Maarten saw solid growth in 2025, supported mainly by tourism, real estate, strong capital and liquidity buffers, and stable financial conditions. Sint Maarten's economy grew by 3.4% in 2025. However, CBCS warns that the financial system remains highly dependent on external growth, leaving both countries exposed to global shocks. Major risks include geopolitical tensions, fuel and energy disruptions, financial market volatility, cybercrime, and possible pressure on tourism demand. The report also notes that Sint Maarten faces greater structural resilience challenges than Curaçao, ranking lower in a Caribbean Resilience Index due to economic, demographic, geographic, and sustainability weaknesses. Banks remain sound, but credit risk is rising. The central bank says strong credit growth, higher non-performing loans, and exposure to tourism and real estate require close monitoring. Pension funds and insurers also remain resilient, but face growing risk from market volatility, liquidity pressure, and climate-related events. For viewers, the message is clear. The financial system is stable for now, but Sint Maarten remains vulnerable to global shocks, tourism slowdowns, cyber threats, and rising costs linked to events beyond the island's control.
Hey there, I'm Venicia Herbert, and welcome to the Community Billboard. This is your space, where the people, places, and heartbeat of the Sint Maarten community get to speak for themselves. Whether it's an event worth showing up for, a business worth knowing about, or a cause worth caring about, you'll hear it right here. So, settle in, because what's coming up next just might be exactly what you've been looking for. Welcome to the NEWSDESK Community Billboard. To be part of our mailing list, send an email to newsdesksxm@gmail.com.
When we come back, we go to our in-depth feature of the day, exploring one of the island's most thought-provoking topics. That's just ahead. Stay tuned.
Let's put everything on the table. People always give their opinion, and you can either take it or crunch it. Let them judge. We give in to the most irresistible flavor. We devour every nugget that falls in our hands, especially when it's our crunchy fried chicken. And let the crumbs fly if needed. Let them keep judging. We'll keep indulging. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
You could talk to your family, talk to your friends. Affordability and convenience. Community connection, that makes sense. Reliability with experience. Hey, for every laugh, every adventure. Number one provider, they got ya. We tell them your data is always on. You can opt out whenever you want. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to roll. Control my data, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always connected every time, everywhere. Money low, but I never fair. I know, tell them it's there. Connectivity, that's what I like. Flexibility, that's what I like. Reliability, that's what I like. Tell them, sign me up for life. Tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Come tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to go. Come tell them we always on. For every moment when you want more. Tell them we always on. Stay connected when you want to road.
Before we wrap up, we take a moment each day to check in with our neighbors across the region. There's always a story worth paying attention to. Here's today's regional headline.
In our regional report, Dominica pushes ahead with record cable car project. Construction on Dominica's ambitious cable car project is moving ahead rapidly, with officials reporting major progress at both the top and bottom stations of what is expected to become the world's longest cable car system. The 6.6-kilometer attraction will transport visitors to Dominica's famous Boiling Lake, the second largest hot spring in the world, in roughly 20 minutes. The project was first announced by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit in 2022 and is expected to become one of the Caribbean's biggest eco-tourism attractions. New updates show tower excavations, helipad clearing, roadway construction, and parking facilities are all advancing, while several cable towers have already been installed. Engineers are also preparing foundations, concrete weights, and assembly systems needed for the high elevation route. The project is expected to carry up to 1,000 passengers per hour in each direction and could significantly reshape Dominica's tourism economy by making one of its most remote natural sites more accessible to international visitors. More than 140 Dominican workers are already employed on the multi-million-dollar development, with officials saying the project is creating new jobs, boosting local spending, and generating long-term tourism opportunities for nearby communities. If completed as planned, the cable car could become one of the most talked about tourism developments in the Caribbean region.
Welcome back. Each day we take a moment to go beyond the headlines and look deeper into the issues, people, and conversations shaping life here on St. Maarten. Welcome to today's News Desk feature.
St. Martin's energy debate has now sparked a related spin-off idea. What if the same national coordination being discussed for energy affordability and resilience was also applied to waste? A new public white paper proposal titled Establishing a National Energy and Waste Authority for St. Martin builds on the earlier National Energy Authority concept, but expands the discussion to include waste oversight, landfill sustainability, wastewater coordination, recycling, and circular economy support. The document is an independent proposal for public discussion, not official government policy, but it raises a serious national question. Can St. Martin keep treating energy and waste as separate problems when both affect the cost of living, public health, tourism, climate resilience, and long-term competitiveness? The proposed authority, called the National Energy and Waste Authority, or NEWA, would not replace ROMI, Public Works, BTP, GEBE, or existing ministries. It would not collect garbage, operate the landfill, manage sewage systems, run wastewater plants, or take over utility operations. Instead, the proposal positions NEWA and NEWA as a lean coordinating and monitoring institution focused on long-term planning, sustainability oversight, financial support, public awareness, and implementation coordination. That distinction matters because St. Martin's waste problem is not only about garbage collection, it's about systems. It's about landfill pressure, it's about illegal dumping, it's about limited recycling, it's about wastewater concerns, it's about public cleanliness, and it's about the image and health of a tourism-based country. The white paper argues that St. Martin is facing rising fuel prices, imported fuel dependence, landfill capacity pressures, wastewater challenges, climate vulnerability, and growing affordability concerns for residents and businesses. In other words, the same forces putting pressure on the energy sector are also connected to waste and environmental management. For a small island economy, garbage is never just garbage. It affects neighborhoods, it affects drainage, it affects pests, it threatens public health, it affects beaches and marine life, and it affects what visitors see, smell, and remember. That is why this proposal is timely. If energy reform is about reducing imported fuel dependence and lowering long-term costs, then waste reform is about reducing environmental pressure, protecting public health, improving tourism confidence, and creating space for recycling and new green business activity. The proposed NEWA would monitor waste collection systems, landfill management performance, sewage and wastewater sustainability, recycling initiatives, and circular economy opportunities, while also helping coordinate financing and modernization strategies. Of course, this idea raises fair questions. Does St. Martin need another authority? How would it avoid overlap with ROMI? Who would appoint the board, and how would transparency be guaranteed? And how would the public know this does not become another layer of bureaucracy? The proposal attempts to answer that by calling for legal separation of responsibilities, independent audits, public reporting, procurement safeguards, parliamentary accountability, and a clear division between policy, regulation, operations, financing, and strategic coordination. But the bigger value of this spin-off idea is that it reframes the conversation. Energy and waste are usually discussed in separate lanes. One is treated as a utility issue, the other is treated as sanitation. But both are really resilience issues. Both affect the economy, both affect the environment, both affect public confidence, and both need technical planning. And both require long-term investment beyond political cycles. So the question is not only how do we collect garbage this week, but the bigger question is, how does St. Martin build a modern waste system that protects the island, supports recycling, reduces landfill pressure, and strengthens the tourism product? The proposal still needs debate, legal review, financial analysis, and public consultation. But the subject itself is unavoidable. If St. Martin wants to protect its people, its environment, and its economy, then energy and waste can no longer be treated as side issues. They are national development issues, and this spin-off white paper puts that conversation directly on the table, or the desk, whichever way you look at it.
That's all the time we have for today's edition of St. Maarten News Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, new episodes premiere every weekday at 8 a.m. on TV15 and across all our social media platforms. From all of us here at News Desk, we wish you a fantastic week ahead. Until next time, stay friendly, St. Maarten.